of this competition.
Hello and welcome to coverage of Arsenal versus West Ham United in the English Premier League. I'm your commentator Richard Parr. Well, Arsenal have the chance to go top of the league, albeit briefly, if they manage to beat the Hammers this afternoon. The Gunners are second in the table, 2 points behind Liverpool. They kick off a little later on at 5:30 p.m. against Chelsea. It's a different story for the Hammers. They are hoping to climb out of the relegation zone with a victory at the Emirates, a venue they've won at on their last 2 visits. So with the players already on the pitch, let's get the latest team news. And Mikel Arteta has started an attacking lineup for this match. He's picked a midfield that includes Eberechi Eze, Martin Odegaard and Declan Rice. The manager has been criticised for defensive selections at times, but he has got a pretty attacking lineup this afternoon. So this is the team in full. In goal, it's David Raya. It's a back four of Jurrien Timber, William Saliba, Gabriel and Ricardo Calafiore. In midfield, it's Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice and Eberechi Eze. And then it's Bukayo Saka, Victor Gyökeres and Leandro Trossard up front. As for West Ham, Nuno Espirito Santo makes one change from the draw with Everton. Kyle Walker-Peters drops to the bench and Aaron Wan-Bissaka returns at right back. So this is the Hammers' first 11. In goal is Alphonse Areola. It's a back four of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Konstantinos Mavropanos, Maximilian Kilman and El Hadj Malik Diouf. In midfield it's Songutu Mugasa, Mateus Fernandez and Lucas Paqueta. And then the attacking trio for the Hammers this afternoon is Jared Bowen on the right, Crescencio Somerville on the left and Nicholas Füllkrug, the main focal point of attack. As for the substitutes for Arsenal, it's Mosquera, White, Martinelli, Arrizabalaga, Noga, Nwaneri, Marino, Zubamendi and Lewis Skelly. For the Hammers, it's Hermansen, Walker-Peters, Julio, Wilson, Guilherme, Rodriguez, Scarles, Potts and Marshall. The Hammers got a really good record at the Emirates. In fact, they were the first side to ever beat Arsenal at this ground back in 2007, thanks to a goal by Bobby Zamora. And it will be the Hammers who get us underway for this game. And they take kickoff with Fernandez playing it back to his goalkeeper, Alphonse Areola. West Ham are in their change kit of a navy shirt, yellow shorts, yellow socks. They're on the attack right now. In fact, they've earned an early corner. It was Bowen who picked the ball up and Calafiore blasted it off the field. And West Ham have an early corner. As I was saying, they're in a navy shirt, yellow shorts, yellow socks, shooting from right to left. Arsenal in their traditional red and white shirts, white shorts, red socks, shooting from left to right. And they've got to defend an early corner, which Lucas Paqueta is preparing to take on the far side. Cross comes in, goes beyond the goalkeeper and it's just headed over the bar. And it's Nicholas Füllkrug who got closest to it. Just bounced off his forehead over the bar, and an early warning sign from West Ham. It's a good delivery and it just fell to Füllkrug towards the far post. It beat the goalkeeper who was pretty much in no man's land there, Raya. Of course, Arsenal are so prolific at the other end, scoring goals from corners, and West Ham have the worst defence from corners, from set pieces. They've conceded 8. That's 5 more than any other side. So that has got to be of real big concern for Nuno Espirito Santo, as Arsenal now have the ball with Gabriel. There was a concern about Gabriel's fitness after he suffered a knock against Olympiacos in midweek, but he is fit enough to start alongside William Saliba. It's the return of that defensive partnership. Christian Mosquera, the summer signing from Valencia, had been playing alongside Gabriel for the last few weeks, but Saliba is back now alongside the Brazilian as Gabriel knocks it forward towards Gyökeres. He brings it down, but West Ham collect the ball and now have it with Mavropanos. Inside to Kilman, and West Ham will play it back to their goalkeeper Areola, who slightly miskicks his clearance. It just about stays in play. And Arsenal now have it with the aforementioned William Saliba. Declan Rice, the former West Ham captain, of course. Timber. Inside to Calafiore, who's dropped in that central midfield role, as Arsenal like to do, inverting their fullbacks. Eze, former Crystal Palace man. Forward into Gyökeres, who's in the box. Pass back, though, to Leandro Trossard was a poor one, and it went out of play. West Ham will have a throw on the far side. Of course, both Gyökeres and Leandro Trossard formerly played for Brighton, albeit Gyökeres barely played before he had a loan spell at Coventry and then eventually went to Sporting Lisbon, of course. He was so prolific. Now trying to make a name for himself in the English Premier League with Arsenal. Started pretty well so far. 3 goals and 6 appearances in the top division. The referee signals an offside for West Ham as Nuno Espirito Santo watches on. His first game in charge of the Hammers ended in a draw against Everton. 1-1 on Monday. As Odegaard has the ball on this near side. Plays it into the centre circle to Calafiore. Back to Gabriel on the halfway line. Rice has got time and space in the centre circle. He's able to find Odegaard. West Ham with a low block at the moment. Odegaard towards Gyökeres. That's really well read for the West Ham defender Kilman, but it's able to get through to Timber, whose shot is saved by Areola. Second shot comes in. It's cleared by Wan-Bissaka. Ball is bouncing now on this near side. Rice just shepherds the ball out of play, just in front of the West Ham bench. But that was a good opportunity for Arsenal inside 5 minutes during Timber having a shot on target saved by Areola. Saliba. Declan Rice now on the halfway line. Closed down by Paquetá. Of course, Declan Rice helped West Ham lift silverware with the Conference League title. As West Ham earn a free kick just inside Arsenal's half. Somerville just tripped over. Fernandes. Paquetá, he's done well to get the ball out of danger and find Diouf on this near side. He plays it back to Kilman. Mavropanos. Fernandes is between the two centre halves. Kilman. Mavropanos now. Ball inside to Magassa, the summer signing from Monaco. Mavropanos knocks it forward. It's one for Wan-Bissaka of all people to chase. He's battling with Gabriel. Gabriel's staying strong. Gabriel's going to try and see the ball out, but Wan-Bissaka just keeps it in play, and West Ham now have it with Bowen on the edge of the area. On the far side, cross comes in, it's decent delivery. Brilliant header clear by Jurrien Timber, and the ball has just swirled out of play. It's a very windy afternoon in North London. I couldn't quite tell if it's gone out for a throw or a corner. The direction of the header was clearly going to be a throw-in, and then it curved at the last minute because of the wind. A very blustery afternoon at the Emirates. And it is a throw-in on the far side. Wan-Bissaka towards Paquetá. Cleared by Rice, but ball still is in play. Paquetá has a shot, but it's never testing the goalkeeper. It's high and wide, but that's a good piece of pressure by West Ham. They wouldn't let Arsenal out. They wouldn't let Arsenal clear. And they fashioned a shot in the end from Paquetá. He was closed down by Rice, so he couldn't really get his effort on target, and it just swung wide. It was a good opportunity moments ago for Jurrien Timber. He got his shot on target. It came back to him after Areola saved it with his knees, but the second shot wasn't quite as good, and in the end Wan-Bissaka was able to clear as William Saliba now has it for Arsenal. Declan Rice. Odegaard. Back to Rice. Clever play between the two Arsenal midfielders. Attacking on the right hand side, Odegaard. He finds Saka just inside the box. Still Saka. Plays it wide to Trossard, who just about controls it in the box. Comes to Eze. Shot comes in. It's blocked by Mavropanos and cleared by Wan-Bissaka. Collected by Rice. Shot from range is blocked by Magassa. Calafiori. And to Gabriel, and he plays it to William Saliba on the halfway line. Odegaard. Timber, who scored twice this season. There has been talk this week that Timber is having conversations with the Gunners about an improved contract. Apparently the Arsenal hierarchy want to reward the Dutch defender for his impressive performances so far this season. Of course, he's keeping Ben White out of the team at the moment. White played in midweek against Olympiacos. Calafiori just about keeps the ball in play. He pulls it back, but Magassa's there, and then it's going to come off Calafiori and go out for a goal kick. Good play by Magassa, the former Monaco man. Well, the referee is coming over to have a conversation. The referee this afternoon is John Brooks. This is his first Premier League game this season. And it does look like Brooks has decided it was a foul by Magassa on Calafiori, and it means Declan Rice has a free kick about 6-7 yards in from where the corner would be taken. Of course, Arsenal are so excellent at set pieces, and this is interesting because Rice is about to do this corner right in front of the West Ham fans in the away end. Arsenal so dangerous set pieces. Cross comes in from Rice towards the near post. Ball is bouncing towards that near post. Bowen's going to try and see the ball out of play, shielding it away from Trossard, and that will be a goal kick. This is a concerning sight for West Ham. Mavropanos is currently down injured. West Ham medical team are going to come and check the Greek defender. You would suspect the most likely change would be for Igor, the Brighton loanee. It's a cross from Rice, and Mavropanos went up for it, and I think it's just a little clash of heads between Mavropanos and Calafiori. Might be a little cut just to the left eye of the former Arsenal defender, no less, Konstantinos Mavropanos, playing against his former club. Espirito Santo, of course, watches on. Began the season coaching Nottingham Forest after doing so well with them last season, guiding them to a European place, which ultimately became the Europa League following the relegation of Crystal Palace from the Europa League down to the Conference League. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to take charge of any games in that competition in the Europa League this season because he lost his job due to his falling out, of course, with Marinakis, the Forest owner. Of course, Ange Postecoglou has got off to a really poor start so far at Forest. This is a big, big game for Nuno already at his new club, West Ham, replacing Graham Potter. West Ham are having a dismal start to the season. They only managed 4 points, and one of them have come so far from Nuno last Monday. Mavropanos is just being patched up. He's kind of getting his eye glued to make sure there'll be no more blood. I think he's going to be okay to continue. I think a lot of people are just targeting for Nuno and West Ham just to survive this season. Of course, they sold Mohamed Kudus in the summer. He's gone to Tottenham, started pretty well with Spurs. An excellent attacking player. now resume with Alphonse Areola kicking the ball into Arsenal's half. It's 12 minutes gone at the Emirates. It's 0-0 at the moment between Arsenal and West Ham United. Jurrien Timber now has the ball for the Gunners. Gabriel. Inside to Declan Rice. West Ham more than happy to sit deep against the Gunners at the Emirates. Ball comes over to Saka. Plays it back inside to Timber. Ødegaard is hung over on this right hand side. Saka's in an offside position. Forces Ødegaard to go backwards to Timber, and they'll rebuild from the back once more on the halfway line with Saliba. Comes out to Ødegaard, who's got a bit of room on this right hand side. He plays it through to Saka. Crosses the ball across the 6-yard box, comes towards Gyökeres, and it's almost bundled into the goal. Shot comes in from Eze on the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's over the bar, and it's a huge miss. He can't believe it. Trossard is the one who actually says don't worry about it. But this is a huge opportunity for Arsenal, and it was too easy. Ødegaard played it through to Saka. He cut it in towards Gyökeres, who somehow was able to tip the ball towards the goalkeeper, Areola, who palmed it away. It fell to Eze right on the edge of the 6-yard box. It just bounced in front of him, and he siphoned it over the bar. Almost harder to miss. But that's the best chance of the game so far, and it was just too easy for Arsenal to cut through West Ham. When the 14th minute, Arsenal 0, West Ham 0. Diouf tries to feed the ball down the line, but it's cut out by Timber, and West Ham will have a throw just in front of the Gunners manager, Mikel Arteta. Eberechi Eze looking for his first Premier League goal in an Arsenal shirt following his move from Crystal Palace. Helped inspire Palace to their FA Cup victory last season, of course, scoring in that final against Manchester City. As Trossard is knocked over and Arsenal win a free kick on the halfway line. Wan-Bissaka with the foul, and Arsenal play it quickly, and they now knock it back to their defender Saliba. Ricardo Calafiori. Saliba. Gabriel now. Saliba. Arsenal being patient and not being pressed at all by West Ham. Calafiori, who just loves to drop into that central area to give Arsenal that extra man in the middle of the park. Ball is threaded through to Ødegaard, who tries to play it through to Gyökeres, but that was well read by Mavropanos. Arsenal, though, win the ball back, but it's going to trickle out of play for a goal kick. And some of the passing so far from Ødegaard in particular has been perfectly placed. Kevin De Bruyne-esque, you could argue. De Bruyne, of course, played a brilliant ball through to Rasmus Højlund in the Champions League for Napoli in midweek, as they took on Sporting. And Ødegaard has twice now tried to play some really good balls between the West Ham fullback and central defenders. Diouf. Somerville, former Leeds man. Fernandes, summer signing from Southampton. Somerville again, he's in a more central area. He's going to try and run at the Arsenal midfield. Just runs into a red wall and is forced to play the ball backwards. It comes out to Diouf. Flicked by Somerville, back to Fernandes. Somerville. Fernandes once more, but now in his own half. Fernandes playing a bit of a deeper role for West Ham than he necessarily did for Southampton. For Southampton, he was more of a number 10 last season. Qatar fades the challenge of Ødegaard, but eventually loses the ball, but the referee John Brooks says that it was an illegal challenge by Ødegaard, and West Ham win a free kick just inside Arsenal's half. And Qatar plays it back to Kilman. Mavropanos. Wan-Bissaka. Magassa. Bowen. Does really well to play it inside to Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka goes around Trossard. Trossard gets a foot in, but the ball goes to Magassa. Bowen. Bowen's going to try and get past Calafiore, but the Italian does well and knocks the ball out of play, and West Ham will have a throw-in. Wan-Bissaka. Paquetá. Wan-Bissaka once more. Eze gets a foot in, and West Ham have another throw on that far side. Wan-Bissaka tosses the ball towards Füllkrug. That's a very poor touch there from the German. It goes out of play, and Arsenal will now have a throw. Of course, Nuno did so well with Forest last season, having Chris Wood up front. Guy in a similar build to Füllkrug, big, strong, powerful. Can Nuno get the same out of the Germany striker Niklas Füllkrug, the former Dortmund striker? Of course, Füllkrug was very outspoken after one game last season about Graham Potter and about West Ham. Areola plays it over to Diouf, but it's a pass that's far too heavy and it's gone out of play on this near side. Sloppy there from the West Ham goalkeeper. Saliba. Plenty of time and space in West Ham's half. Nearly all of West Ham's outfield players are in their final third. Only Füllkrug has now left that area. Rice. Ødegaard. Arsenal under very little pressure. They're 2/3 up the pitch. Saka now on this right hand side is going to try and get past Somerville. Somerville wins the ball back. That's really well played. Arsenal they win the ball back. In fact, Somerville has it once more and is able to bring the ball forward into Arsenal's half. He plays it out wide. It's Paquetá who just keeps the ball in play. Rice is in front of him, his former teammate. Paquetá just flicks the ball off Saka, and West Ham have a throw. Level with the 18-yard box as Ødegaard is now on the ground holding his knee. Of course, that's the last thing Arsenal want, is an injury to their captain. In fact, it was just knee on knee between Ødegaard and Somerville there. He looks pretty concerned about it, the Arsenal captain. He was in fine form against Olympiacos, but I think he's going to be okay. Bit of a sore one, but I think he's hopeful that he'll be able to run it off as West Ham prepare to take this throw. And Somerville now has it. He plays it into the feet of Paquetá. He's holding off the challenge of Timber. Paquetá goes down and Ødegaard just kicks the ball out of play. And I think Ødegaard's in a bit of pain here, and I think Ødegaard's afternoon is going to be over, and he can't believe it. And the substitutes are quickly going to get warmed up. As the doctor is now having a look at Ødegaard's knee. "20 minutes have been played at the Emirates as Arsenal 0, West Ham 0. Mikel Merino among the substitutes warming up as we speak, alongside Martin Zubimendi, two former Real Sociedad midfielders. Concerning moment here for Mikel Arteta in his 300th game in charge of the Gunners. The last thing he's going to want is to lose his captain 20 minutes into this match. Of course, the fixtures never really stop for Arsenal. However, they will have an international break after this game.
And they return with an away game at Fulham on Saturday the 18th of October, and then a home game in the Champions League on the 21st against Atletico Madrid. Odegaard is back. He's trying to run this knock off, jogging along the touchline. He's keen to come back on, I think. The doctor is still checking out, but for the moment the game has resumed and Arsenal are playing with 10 men, and Declan Rice plays the ball to Calafiori. It's now with France defender William Saliba. Timber. Saliba once more. Saka, slightly loose touch, and it allows Diouf to come over, and he just shoves over the England international, and the Arsenal players complain to the referee John Brooks as Odegaard comes back onto the pitch. Calafiori. Gabriel. Eze, who's just dropped deep for the moment at a left back area. Ball comes inside to Declan Rice. Played over to Saka on this near side. He's got the chance to now run at Diouf. What can he do? Decides to play it back to Timber. Rice. Gabriel, the Brazilian defender. Calafiori. Rice. Arsenal with plenty of the possession so far in this game, but West Ham have won on their last 2 visits to the Emirates as Rice plays it over the top towards Saka. Diouf gets there first, but it falls to Saka, and he calmly places the ball into the back of the net, and it's far too easy for Arsenal, but the offside flag goes up. Of course, VAR will check this, but it was just a simple ball over the top from Declan Rice, and yes, Saka just made the move a little bit early. Got to say, it was pretty weak defending in the end by Diouf, because it hit Diouf's shoulder, it bounced towards Saka, then he calmly placed the ball past Alphonse Areola. Fortunately for Nuno Espirito Santo and his team, the goal was quickly chalked off. It remains goalless at the Emirates. Gabriel kicks the ball into the sky. Calafiori wins the header. Fulkrug now. Eze tries to flick it forward. Knocked on by Odegaard, and now there's a bit of room for Timber to run forward with the ball, although it gets caught up in his feet. He gives it to Rice. He crosses the halfway line. Being shadowed by 2 West Ham players, and he comes loose. Rice, and then eventually Fernandez comes over to help, and he wins the ball, and Diouf clears it first time with his left foot. The ball goes out of play just inside West Ham's half for a throw-in for Arsenal as Declan Rice makes a bit of a complaint to his former teammates as Jurrien Timber prepares to take this throw for Arsenal just in front of Nuno Espirito Santo, the new West Ham United boss in his 2nd game in charge. Saka now. Gabriel. Saka once more. Rice. Ball comes over to Gabriel. Goes wide to Trossard. He's marked tightly by Wan-Bissaka. Eze now. Trossard comes inside to Rice. Eze. Lagassa tries to get close to him, and he plays the ball over to Odegaard. Saka. Will he decide to run at Diouf? Puts the cross in instead. It's a decent delivery. It's headed out by Kilman. Odegaard now, once more. Does feel like West Ham are on the back foot a lot in this game. I wouldn't say they're on the ropes, but if Arsenal continue to press and continue to control possession in this game, you do feel like a goal could be coming sooner rather than later. Trossard. Wan-Bissaka's in front of him. He tries to get a foot in. The ball goes back to Gabriel. Rice. Timber. Saka. Tries to curl the ball in towards Gyökeres, but he was marked tightly by Kilman, and then a foul is won by West Ham. Somerville going down from the challenge by Odegaard. It does look like there's a bit of movement on the bench, although I can't tell if it's an Arsenal player putting his jacket back on or he's preparing to come on. Of course, there's continued concerns over the knee of Martin Ødegaard, their captain, who they would prefer to keep on if they can. Eze tries to flick it through towards Saka, but it's cleared by Mavropanos. Jarrod Bowen now, who's been quiet in this game so far. He collects it on the right hand side. He's closed down by Calafiori and by Trossard. And West Ham win a throw on the far side. Trossard's furious about that. He feels it should have gone Arsenal's way. Because Bowen scored the winner the last time these two sides met at the Emirates. He's actually got 5 goals against the Gunners in the Premier League in his career. He likes facing West Ham's North London rivals. Well, speaking of which, West Ham have an atrocious record in London derbies. In fact, they have the worst record out of all of the London clubs. They've lost more than any other team, 134 of them, as Arsenal hook the ball clear. Trossard tries to play it towards Gyökeres, but Mavropanos does really well there. The Swedish striker eventually falling to the ground. Diouf puts the cross in, but it goes straight at Timber, and West Ham will have a throw in on the edge of the 18-yard box. And Diouf wanted to take it quickly, but again Ødegaard is down. It's got to be the end of the game for Martin Ødegaard, the Arsenal captain. And he's frustrated. So it'll be interesting to see who Arsenal bring on. Will it be Mikel Merino? I think it's likely to be Zubimendi. Indeed it is. A summer signing from Real Sociedad. As some of the Arsenal fans get to their feet to applaud their captain, Martin Ødegaard, who shakes his head. He's frustrated. Martin Zubimendi is on inside half an hour. It remains goalless between Arsenal and West Ham. Mavropanos plays the ball back to his goalkeeper, Alphonse Areola. Ball is cleared forward towards Füllkrug, but Gabriel does well to get in front of him, and Arsenal now have it with Raya. Trossard has just dropped into the centre of midfield for Arsenal. Squares it inside to Zubimendi. A first touch for the substitute. Ball comes out to Saka. Saka hasn't decided to have a race at Diouf just yet. Zubimendi. Calafiori now. Flicks it back to Gabriel. He tries to evade the challenge of Füllkrug, but the referee, John Brooks, decides that the German was a little bit too heavy with that challenge, and Arsenal have a free kick. Füllkrug just coming into the side of the Brazilian defender. That was the right decision by the referee, as Trossard now has it on the far side. Wan-Bissaka's in front of him. The back heel towards Calafiori. He tries to get across him, but that was well read by Jarrod Bowen. The West Ham fans in the corner absolutely love that from their captain. And West Ham, in the end, will have a goal kick. Areola plays it to Kilman. Kilman hooks it towards Füllkrug, who wins the header, but and Saliba nods it forward. Rice heads it back to Calafiori. He's been closed down by Bowen, but this time it will be a free kick to Arsenal inside West Ham's half. Calafiori. Zubimendi. Timber racing forward. This is a good run from the Dutchman. Tries to play it towards Rice, but that's kept out by Magassa. Trossard has it again. Cross comes in. Headed out by Mavropanos. Fernandez tries to clear, but Arsenal win the ball back. Trossard has it. Calafiori does brilliantly to find Trossard. Cross comes in towards Eze on the edge of the box, unmarked. Brings it down beautifully. Plays it out to Saka. It's a little bit far though for the England international. Try to run it. Jiff cross comes in. It's a decent ball towards Gyökeres. Ball comes loose to Trossard. It's blocked by Wan-Bissaka. This is good pressure by the Gunners. Can they finally break the deadlock? Trossard. Zubimendi. Trossard again. Towards Gyökeres. He tries to throw it through to Rice. Timber can't get there. The ball is kicked back towards the goalkeeper, Areola. He's not sure whether he can pick it up. Indeed, in the end, he does. I think he just looked at the referee to make sure it was okay, because it did just flick off a West Ham defender. It was beautifully brought down by Eze, but his pass to Saka was a little heavy. It was a lovely cross by Saka towards Gyökeres, but he couldn't get enough power or accuracy on his header, and West Ham were able to clear. Calafiori. Declan Rice. Zubimendi. Timber. William Saliba. Gabriel. Arsenal absolutely dominating possession so far in this game. In fact, so far they've had 68% of the ball compared to West Ham's 32%. Trossard now on the far side. He's going to try and run at Wan-Bissaka. Cross comes in. Mavropanos wins the header at the near post, but it goes high into the sky. And two West Ham players getting in each other's way, and Arsenal are saying there was a hand involved there, but play continues. Saka being marked tightly by Diop. Saka still has the ball short, comes in, it deflects off the West Ham defender, and Arsenal have a corner kick, and the Gunners players go and have a conversation with the referee. Saka, of course, has the captain's armband now following the withdrawal of Odegaard due to injury. It's Paquetá and Magassa who just bundled into each other, and as the ball bounced back up, it did just hit the hand of Magassa. Looking at the replay, not sure whether you could count that as being deliberate. I don't think so. But Arsenal have a corner. Declan Rice whips it in, fisted out by Areola. Shot comes in from Eze, comes out to Trossard. Cross comes in, it bounces into Magassa, and Arsenal have another corner kick. Of course, the Gunners are so good at set pieces. In fact, 9 of their last 14 Premier League goals have been scored either by 7 corners, a free kick and a penalty. They are the set piece kings. And Saka applauds the home fans as he comes over to take his first corner of the game. So on this near side, it will be his trusty left foot, preparing to in-swing the ball. Arsenal, as they like to, have players at the far post. They'll move as the ball comes in to be delivered. They do exactly that. Saka's delivery towards the near post. Comes back out to Saka. He pulls it back to Eze on the edge of the area. Saliba, but the pass is behind him. Eze. Zubimendi. Rice. Rice is being forced backwards by Wan-Bissaka. That's good defending by West Ham. He goes all the way back to David Raya. 9 minutes remaining in the first half. Arsenal 0, West Ham 0. Arsenal had a goal chalked out by Bukayo Saka for offside, but they're on the attack here with Timber. Timber plays the ball across 6-yard box. Ball comes loose. Cleared by Wan-Bissaka. Again, high into the sky. Bounced just outside the edge of the penalty area. Comes out to Timber on this near side, and Diouf is able to get a foot to it. But it's now with the former West Ham skipper, Declan Rice, now with Arsenal. Zubimendi. Calafiori. On this right hand side, he's running into the box. It's a really good run from the Italian. Eventually it trickles away from him, and it will be a West Ham United goal kick. In fact, Arsenal's possession is now 70% compared to West Ham's 30. They've had 11 attempts. West Ham have only managed 2 so far, but it does remain goalless, and that is the most important statistic for Mikel Arteta and of course Nuno Espirito Santo. Areola with the long goal kick, again towards Füllkrug. He's battling with Gabriel. Trossard hooks the ball forward towards Saka. The header is won by Diouf. Ball is then flicked forward back towards Saka, who's now got a little bit of room. And closed down by Paquetá. Nearly a late challenge. Zubimendi threads the ball through to Eze. Shot comes in as a great save by the goalkeeper. It comes back out to Declan Rice, who puts the ball into the back of the net. And Arsenal have the lead. And Declan Rice just looks at the West Ham fans. He refuses to celebrate. He gives a high 10 to Ebe Eze. The Arsenal players come around Declan Rice as he scores against his former club, and Arsenal have the lead at the Emirates. And it was coming for Mikel Arteta's side. The ball had bounced over towards Saka on this near side. He got away from the challenge of Paquetá. He played it inside to Zubimendi, who played a perfect pass to Eze. His shot was saved well by Areola, but it came loose near the penalty spot to Declan Rice, who put a composed finish, side-footing the ball into the back of the net to give Arsenal the lead. It's Arsenal 1, West Ham United 0. And that, for now, will put Arsenal temporarily on top of the Premier League. If it stays this way, Arsenal will be top, because Liverpool do not play it until later. They take on Chelsea at 5:30 p.m. Calafiori now with the throw on the far side. Toss towards Gyökeres. He goes down. Saka's able to play the ball backwards to Saliba, and Saliba tries to release Timber on the right hand side. He's knocked over by Somerville, and the ball goes out for a throw in on this near side. Timber quickly back to his feet, although he's hobbling a little bit. West Ham are trying to become only the second side ever to beat Arsenal 3 times in a row at the Emirates. The only team to have done that is Manchester City. It doesn't look likely at the moment. It's the Gunners who have the lead. Somerville. West Ham really need to create more if they're to get back into this game, and perhaps being a goal down now, they're going to be forced to. They've played this game very, very deep against the Gunners. They've allowed Arsenal to enjoy basically 2/3 of the football pitch here. As Diouf throws the ball in on the halfway line, it's chested back by Paquetá and launched forward by Diouf towards Füllkrug, who's battling with the Arsenal defence. He flicks the ball over his head. It comes to Calafiori. He's been closed down by Bowen. He's able to make the pass to Zubimendi, who knocks it back to Gabriel, and Arsenal will calm down now. Zubimendi, he's able to turn and now bring the ball forward for the Gunners. Comes out to Trossard on that far side. Tries to play it through to Declan Rice, but the pass with the outside of his boot was too heavy as Rice tries to barge into Mavropanos, and Arsenal want to throw, and I think they've got one on the far side. They do, and Calafiori is taking his time. We've got less than 4 minutes remaining of normal time in this first half. Arsenal 1, West Ham 0. As Calafiori wants to get the towel from the ball boy to clean the ball, and he is planning to launch this for the Gunners. Arsenal lined up on the edge of the 6-yard box. Ball comes in, it's headed out by Kilman. Rice heads the ball back into the danger zone, but West Ham deal with it again. Füllkrug tries to win the ball off Eze, and he lands pretty heavily, the German. landing on his back and maybe the back of his head. There's a bit of concern over Gyökeres, who is holding the side of his cheek, the side of his jaw. You wonder what may have happened there following that long throw. There are a whole load of bodies in the 6-yard box. Slight arm off a West Ham defender. It didn't seem deliberate from the angle of the replay I just got to witness. So I don't think VAR will intervene here. It remains to be a pretty windy day in North London. As Kilman has the ball now for West Ham. He tries to flick it forward. Rye's able to collect it right on the edge of his area on this near side. Rye has had very little to do so far in this game. West Ham have only managed 2 attempts and neither of them have been on target. I also can't imagine he's had too many touches of the ball so far, the former Brentford goalkeeper. Saliba. Martin Zubimendi. Closed down by Paquetá, but he's able to play the ball back to Gabriel. Eze. Saka. Saliba brings the ball into the centre circle. Eze. Trossard. Eze. Calafiori. Zubimendi's just dropped between the two Arsenal centre-halves. Minute remaining at the Emirates. It's Arsenal 1, West Ham United 0. Declan Rice scoring against his former club. And Arsenal are just happy to take the sting out of this game now. They're playing the ball all the way back to their goalkeeper Raya. It comes to Saliba. West Ham are being forced to press a little bit higher as Timber now has the ball and he brings it into West Ham's half. Into the feet of Rice. He can't get the ball out of his feet. He goes down under the challenge of Magassa. He wants a free kick. The referee doesn't give it. I think that was a little bit soft from Rice, the way he went down there. Somerville. He goes down under the challenge of Timber. He collides with Paquetá. Paquetá almost gives up on the challenge there, which is very unlike the Brazilian. Calafiori. Zubimendi on the halfway line. He's just treading on the ball. We're approaching half-time. Arsenal have the lead. This is smart game management by the Gunners. They're happy to play out the clock. I suspect there'll be a few minutes of additional time because of the injury to Martin Ødegaard. Rice goes out wide to Trossard on the far side. Trossard plays the ball in towards Eze, but that's well read by Fernandes. There'll be 5 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half. Gabriel goes down under the challenge of the former Southampton man, Fernandes, and he wins Arsenal a free kick. And Arsenal, if they choose to, could put this into the penalty box. It's just about in range. It's on the far side. It's by the touchline. And Declan Rice is coming over to take it. This will be Rice's 55th touch of the game. He's been all over the field in this match, but less so in his own penalty box because Arsenal have been pretty dominant in this game, albeit they only have a 1-goal lead at the moment. So West Ham are lined up on the edge of their penalty box. Cross comes in from Rice, trying to be flicked on by Calafiori. Comes back out to Trossard. Cross is played into the box towards Gyökeres. Goes over him and Füllkrug. Comes out to Saka. Diouf's in front of him. Saka comes onto his left foot. Shot comes in. It's blocked. West Ham clear with Fernandes. Comes to Diouf. He's trying to run away with the ball, but he's tackled by Calafiori, and it comes all the way to an Arsenal man. But in the end, the referee has blown his whistle because Diouf went down because of a challenge there. I think it was Timber with the foul. In fact, it was Calafiori with the late challenge. Didn't get the ball at all there, the Italian. West Ham have a free kick. Areola's preparing to take it. He kicks it towards Fulkrug. Calafiori wins the header. Wan-Bissaka. Calafiori now hooks the ball into the sky towards Eze, but he gets a little shove from Fernandez, who wins the header, and play continues. But Fulkrug is trying to get the ball off Gabriel. He does brilliantly, but in the end, Rice is there to help, and he gives it to Eze. Eze's loose pass though goes to Wan-Bissaka, another former Crystal Palace player, but this ball forward just goes straight to the Spanish goalkeeper David Raya, who's now just treading on the ball on the penalty spot. He wants a West Ham player to come towards him. He's happy to see the clock out here. 2 minutes remaining of stoppage time, and Raya's saying, come on, why don't you come? There's no rush whatsoever for me. And in the end, he picks the ball up and then rolls it out to William Saliba. Inside to Calafiori. Out to Rice, who's picked up in the left back area, with Calafiori more central at the moment. Rice once more plays down the line to Calafiori. This is what's so clever about these inverted fullbacks, is very often you don't know where they're going to be. Calafiori went from left back to central midfield to left midfield there, all in a matter of a few passes. Xhaka. Zubimendi brings the ball into the centre circle. He plays it wide to Rice. Timber. Zubimendi out wide to Calafiori. He plays the ball down the line to Trossard on the far side. Back to Calafiori. Plays it inside to Trossard. In fact, Trossard, I think, just nicked it off the feet of Zubimendi there. Eze comes over to Saka on this near side. Diouf, as usual, is in front of him. Comes onto his favourite left foot here. Saka threads it through to Timber. It's a brilliant pass. Timber can't get it out of his feet. Clearance comes to Calafiori, whose shot hits the post, hits the back of the goalkeeper, and it's cleared by the defender Mavropanos. And that's a huge opportunity for Arsenal, and they're frustrated about it. They were so close with that effort. The clearance came out to Calafiori. He had a shot with his right foot inside the D. It hit the post, hit the back of the goalkeeper, and fortunately for Alphonse Areola, it didn't drop into the back of the net. It was spinning towards the line, and Mavropanos got there first, ahead of any other Arsenal players. But West Ham have to now defend a throw which Declan Rice is preparing to take. 5 minutes has been played of additional time. This will be the last action of this first half. Rice towards the near post. Comes back to Declan Rice. Can he get a cross in? He does. Headed out of the near post. Comes out to Calafiori right on the edge of the box. And the referee in the end decides to blow for half-time. Arsenal aren't too pleased about it, but they're pleased with the scoreline. Declan Rice's goal against his former club is the difference between the two sides as we head into the break. It's Arsenal 1, West Ham 0.
Welcome back to coverage of Arsenal versus West Ham, and the second half has just got underway at the Emirates, and it is the Gunners who lead 1-0 thanks to a goal in the first half by the former West Ham skipper Declan Rice. West Ham looking to get out of the relegation zone with a victory at the Emirates, but it's Arsenal who can move top of the table if they manage to hold on to this lead at the Emirates Stadium, as the ball is switched over to this near side towards Jarrod Bowen, the West Ham captain. The Hammers shooting from left to right in their change kit of navy shirt, yellow shorts, yellow socks. Arsenal in their traditional home kit, red and white shirt, white shorts, red socks, shooting from right to left. Somerville. Ball goes inside to Magassa. He spreads it out wide to Diouf. Diouf knocks the ball. It's brilliantly taken down by Somerville. His shot is blocked. It comes out to Wan-Bissaka. He plays it out wide to his skipper, Bowen. Bowen puts across him with his left foot. He can't get it to Füllkrug. He's just being shepherded away there by the defender, Gabriel, and the ball in the end going into the arms of the goalkeeper, David Raya. But that's a bright start by West Ham. They started brightly at the beginning of the first half, but they didn't really do much after that, although Arsenal are questioning here a hand by Mavropanos just moments ago, right on the edge of the area. Doesn't look like VAR is intervening. If you're just joining us, it doesn't appear that Arsenal or West Ham have made any changes at the interval. Of course, the Gunners were forced into one substitution during the first half. Their captain, Martin Ødegaard, had to be withdrawn due to an injury to his knee. And Martin Zubamendi, their summer signing from Real Sociedad, has since come on. Calafiori gets the ball just ahead of Magassa, and it goes out of play on this near side. So I'll give you a quick reminder of the two teams for this afternoon's game. In goal for Arsenal, it's Raya. It's a back four of Timber, Saliba, Gabriel and Calafiori. The midfield is now Zubamendi, Rice and Eze, with Saka, Gyökeres and Trossard up front for Mikel Arteta's side in his 300th game as Arsenal manager. As for the Hammers, in goal it's Areola. It's a back four of Wan-Bissaka, Mavropanos, Kilman and Diouf. Magassa, Fernandez and Paquetá are the three central midfielders, and Bowen and Somerville are playing either side of Niklas Füllkrug, the tall German striker. Eze, Saliba, Zubamendi, who's just dropped between the two centre halves. Saliba brings the ball into West Ham's half. West Ham let Arsenal have a lot of the ball in the first half. They had 70% of it. They played a lot of it in West Ham's half as well. They were pretty much given 2/3 of the pitch all to themselves. West Ham with a very low block against the Gunners. Saliba, who's far up the pitch. He goes around one challenge. Cross comes in. It's headed out by Kilman. West Ham will try to break now with Paquetá, who actually slows things down, and he tries to come away from two challenges. Runs into Eze, and he's able to just drop it back to Somerville. Diouf. Somerville once more. The two left-sided players have just switched roles, with Somerville dropping at left back, Diouf further up the field, and they'll switch back now as the ball comes over to Mavropanos. Arteta's instructing his team to press higher against the West Ham defence here. He doesn't want them giving the West Ham defenders time here. Eze trying to close down Mavropanos, and it's paid off. Arsenal have the ball now with Eze. Gyökeres running into the box. Trossard's behind him. It bounces off a West Ham defender, and the Gunners have a corner. The most talented team from set pieces have a corner kick against the team who concedes the most goals from corners.
Arsenal versus West Ham. 5 minutes gone into the second half. Arsenal 1, West Ham United 0. Arsenal's goal scorer, Declan Rice, is preparing to take this corner kick. Gabriel is forward. He's being marked by 2 West Ham players here. Cross comes in from Rice towards the back post. Areola gets a punch to it. Fernandes is down in the box. Ball comes out. Shot comes in. I think it was Saka in the end. And it goes over the bar. It was Arsenal's skipper. Saka taking the armband from Ødegaard following the Norwegian midfielder's injury. I've got to say, it's really weak for Fernandes going down. He's holding the side of his face, and he was barely touched, barely brushed by Gabriel there. Nothing was given as West Ham try to play the ball forward. It's a really loose pass from Kilman, and that's easy for Raya to scoop up, playing a sweeper-keeper role. Gabriel on this near side. It's a Trossard. First time pass over the top to Rice, who's broken forward. Plays the ball into the 6-yard box. Gyökeres just can't reach it. It went right between the Swedish striker and Areola across the 6-yard line. And West Ham were able to clear the ball. And they now have it with Paquetá inside to Magassa. He's able to turn and bring the ball forward. He tries to play it to his left, but it's a really weak pass and well read by Bukayo Saka. And Arsenal actually have a throw now on the far side. Gyökeres wants it, but he's being marked tightly by Mavropanos, so the ball is tossed in towards Eze. And he just knocks it back to his defence, and now Rice has it. He spreads it over to this near side to Trossard. First time pass down the line towards Calafiori. Can he get across? And brilliantly defended by Jarrod Bowen, as you'd expect, as Calafiori tries to rile up the crowd, trying to get them to make some noise in the Emirates. Arsenal wanted that 12th man to help them get that second goal. It was a delicious ball across the 6-yard box by Declan Rice, and just a little bit too far for Gyökeres. Arsenal take the corner short. Rice plays it inside to Trossard, unmarked in the box. He goes around Mavropanos, shot comes in, it's blocked at the near post, and Arsenal will have another corner kick. Also Trossard is trying to get the noise in the stadium louder. Declan Rice with Arsenal's 5th corner, plays it short to Eze. Comes back to Zubimendi. Saka. Zubimendi once more. Through to Trossard. Rice on this near side. Cross comes in with this left foot, blocked by Bowen. Drops to Saliba. Heavy pass back to Zubimendi, but he's under no pressure. Rice also under no pressure. Trossard. On this left-hand side, he's got Bowen in front of him. Is he going to try and get past the winger? Cross comes in from Trossard, and it's caught by the goalkeeper. Wasn't a particularly ball over from the left foot of the Belgium international. The ball is played through, but it's cut out by Saliba, and Zubimendi has it. Calafiori. Back to Zubimendi. First time pass to Trossard. Trossard cuts inside. He looks up. He thinks about playing the ball over with his right foot. He squares it to Eze. Eze has been challenged by Fernandes, but he's able to find Saka. Ball comes inside to Trossard. It's heavy. It looks like it's hit the arm of Magassa. Arsenal win the ball back. Play continues. Comes over to Calafiori. Trossard. His pass is cut out. Bowen picks it up for West Ham, but there's no options forward. He has to play it backwards to Paquetá. Ball goes through the legs of Calafiori. Bowen goes down. Bowen complains to the referee, but West Ham get a free kick. Just a collision between Trossard and Bowen, but right in front of the referee. West Ham now have it on the far side with Diouf. He plays it down the line to Somerville. He brings it inside. Breaks into Arsenal's half, but he just fires his pass at Declan Rice, and Arsenal win the ball back. Zubimendi flicks it over towards Saka. He knocks it back to Timber, and Arsenal will just try and calm things down a little. Zubimendi. Calafiori in a central midfield area. Trossard. Gabriel. Saliba. Calafiori back to the France defender. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Arsenal 1, West Ham United 0. Declan Rice's goal, the difference between the two sides, coming in the 38th minute. Arsenal have been extremely dominant in this game. It looks like Nuno Espirito Santo has a lot of work to do with this West Ham side, albeit with only a 1 goal difference. They are still in this game. Timber. Saliba. Calafiori in the centre circle. Forced to play it back to Saliba on the halfway line. Timber. Plays it down the line to Saka. Marked tightly by Diouf, but that's a clear shove by the defender. And that will be a free kick to Arsenal. Got to say, that's one of the most blatant shoves I think you'll see there from the summer signing from Slavia Prague, the Senegal fullback. Declan Rice is preparing to take this free kick. West Ham are lined up pretty much on the edge of the D. Can Rice deliver this ball into a dangerous area for Arsenal to attack? The set piece specialists. Rice raises his left arm. Cross comes in. Headed out by West Ham. It comes out to Trossard. He plays it back over to Rice, and Arsenal are going to be forced back, and they play it back to their goalkeeper Raya. Plays the ball forward towards Gyökeres. Calafiori wins the header. It drops actually to Gabriel. Trossard. Calafiori. Inside to Eze. Wide to Timber. Thinks about a cross. Sides against it. Gives it to Saka. Saka's forced backwards. He evades the challenge of Somerville. He gets tripped and then wins Arsenal another free kick. And the referee John Brooks has decided to book Somerville. He shows him a yellow card. So it's another opportunity for Arsenal to put the ball into the box. It's in a not too dissimilar position to the last free kick that Declan Rice took, maybe about 6-7 yards further forward. It does mean that West Ham are defending this a little deeper on the edge of their penalty box. Gabriel and Saliba are obviously forward, and Rice plays it short to Saka down the line. He's going to try and get past Fernandes. Fernandes gets the touch. Saka has hold of the ball. Fernandes gets a foot in. Fernandes now has possession. He plays it to his defender who clears, and it goes straight to Zubamendi. Declan Rice. Calafiori. Gabriel. Trossard. Flicks over the top towards Gyökeres. Headers won by Mavropanos. Comes back to Trossard. He has a quite painful challenge with Wan-Bissaka, but Arsenal have the ball, but it's a poor pass by Zubamendi to Saka. Diouf has it. He's been closed down by the Arsenal captain. Diouf goes down. He wins West Ham a free kick. The official on the far side's flag immediately went up, but Trossard is in quite a bit of pain here. He's holding just above his right ankle. Wan-Bissaka is just checking on the Belgian forwards. Just caught his foot as he went for the ball. There was nothing malicious there. There was a ball to be won. A bit of a painful one for Leandro Trossard. He is back on his feet. Of course, Arsenal do have Gabriel Martinelli on the bench. That would be an obvious change. Ethan Nwaneri is also one of the options available to Mikel Arteta, but it's actually West Ham are going to make a Couple of changes now. Looks like Callum Marshall and Freddie Potts are both about to come on. And it's Fulkrug and Magassa who come off. What can these two West Ham substitutes do? Can they change this game? An hour gone at the Emirates. Arsenal 1, West Ham United 0. Ball is played forward by Diouf, but it's too long and it goes all the way to the goalkeeper, David Raya, although Bukayo Saka is down and he's got a bleeding nose and he's questioning what is going on here. Looking at the referee, and Saliba's just treading on the ball, and Saka's now back to his feet, but he's showing blood to the referee. And it was the challenge by Fernandes, and as he came down, Fernandes' hand just caught the nose of Saka. How deliberate that is, I'm not sure. Fernandes was falling down at the time. Saka isn't happy about it regardless. There's a bit of a concern over the back of Declan Rice, the goal scorer. His goal came in the first half. It was Eze's shot, palmed away by the goalkeeper, and it fell to Declan Rice, who calmly side-footed the ball into the back of the net. Of course, as I mentioned, if Arsenal hold on to this lead and they pick up the 3 points, they will move above Liverpool into first in the table. They began the day in second. They actually dropped to third following Spurs' win earlier today against Leeds United. As Saka just gets his nose checked out, and he'll be ready to return very, very shortly. But there's clearly a lot to do for the new West Ham boss, Nuno Espirito Santo. Somehow they are technically still in this game, being only a goal down, but they haven't really created anything in this game. They've defended for pretty much a whole hour. And it certainly is interesting that Nuno Espirito Santo decided to bring on Callum Marshall, the young Northern Irish forward, rather than bring on the experienced Callum Wilson. One of the first things it seems that Nuno has done is bring in Fulkrug for Wilson, and now he feels like he'd prefer to play Callum Marshall than the former Newcastle and Bournemouth forward. As Arsenal win a free kick just outside the centre circle. Rice plays it quickly to Calafiori, who's got a bit of room to move forwards. He plays it out wide to Trossard on this near side. Trossard comes onto his right foot, cross comes in, headed out by Kilman. Drop towards Somerville, who he hooks it forward, but there's no one to battle with Saliba there. He brings it down and he just squares it to Zubimendi. Ball comes back to Saliba. Raya. Spanish goalkeeper launches it forward towards Saka. Headers won by Diouf. Ball goes high into the air. Saliba wins the header. Somerville tries to bring it down. He loses it under the pressure of Timber. Now Zubimendi plays it out wide to Saka. He fizzes it back to the defender Saliba. Zubimendi now on the halfway line. Tries to flick it forward towards Timber, who's got the right side of the defender. He goes down on the edge of the box, and in fact the referee says it's inside the box because he's pointed at the penalty spot, and it's Arsenal who have the chance to double their lead from the penalty spot. Jurrien Timber brought down by the Senegalese defender El Hadj Malick Diouf. I think the challenge began on the edge of the box, but ultimately I think the referee is right here, giving a penalty. Of course, VAR will double check it. It was a lovely ball, just floated over the top by Zubimendi to Timber. He brought it down delightfully, and then he was taken down by Diouf. And Arsenal have the chance to double their lead at the Emirates against West Ham United. And it's going to be Bukayo Saka to take the penalty kick. Will he score in his 200th Premier League appearance? He scored 4 of his last 5 for the Gunners. He's one-on-one with the French goalkeeper Alphonse Areola. It's going to be Saka with his trusty, reliable left foot from 12 yards. Bukayo Saka puts the ball into the back of the net, and Arsenal have doubled their lead. Bukayo Saka scoring in his 200th Premier League appearance. The last player to do that for the Gunners was Thierry Henry back in 2005. Saka with his second goal of the season in the Premier League, his second goal in the week, having scored against Olympiacos, and that should see Arsenal home and dry, because it's Arsenal 2, West Ham United 0. And he points to the sky. Bukayo Saka, he fizzed it in to the goalkeeper's left, but the keeper dived to his right in the corner. It really was a really good pass from Zubimendi, just over the top between the fullback and the centre half to Timber, who was brought down, and it's Saka who's dispatched the spot kick. Arsenal 2, West Ham United 0. We're in the 68th minute at the Emirates, and it doesn't look like the Hammers are going to get a third straight victory over Arsenal at the Emirates in the Premier League. Somerville gets the ball from Diouf. Being forced backwards though, and it comes to Kilman. Squared to Mavropanos. Wan-Bissaka down the line to Bowen. Really good touch there from the England international. Paqueta keeps the ball in play, but he's brought down by Calafiori, and West Ham win a free kick. Calafiori went down afterwards. He's not too pleased. He's back to his feet. Calafiori just caught by the studs of Paquetá as he kind of fell down. How deliberate that is, I'm not so sure. It's West Ham who have a free kick on this near side. In fact, Paquetá has been shown a yellow card. But West Ham take this free kick short, and you wonder why they haven't put the ball into the box. Comes to Paquetá. He does finally put the ball into the box, but it's not very good. It's gone straight to the goalkeeper, and that feels like a wasted opportunity by West Ham as their goalkeeper, the Arsenal goalkeeper, launches it long towards Gyökeres. Gyökeres has it. He's battling with Paquetá, but the Brazilian's done really well to win the ball back for West Ham. And then he takes too long to pass the ball. He falls down. He wants a free kick, and in the end he gets it. Gyökeres punished for the challenge. And in the end it's actually an Arsenal throw-in, which will be taken by Riccardo Calafiori, former Bologna defender. West Ham managed to clear. They launch it forward, but Saliba's there, and he squares it to Timber. Ball comes inside to Zubimendi. Calafiori on the halfway line. He was being tracked by Marshall, so he played the ball over to Timber. Zubimendi comes over to this near side to Trossard. First time ball over the top, but it's a little bit long for Rice, and Mavropanos does brilliantly with a thunderous challenge to get to the ball, but I think it comes off Rice in the end, although he is holding his lower back once more, and you do wonder if the Arsenal medical team and Mikel Arteta need to start to manage this injury, and Trossard's actually looking at the bench and he's pointing at Rice's back, and you think with a 2-0 lead, albeit the international break is coming soon, it'll be a concern for Thomas Tuchel. I think Arsenal need to manage this issue with Declan Rice. They've certainly got options on the bench. Mikel Merino's there, Christian Norgard is there. Plenty of experience on the bench for Mikel Arteta to turn to if they wanted to withdraw the former West Ham skipper. Rice. Arsenal have continued where they left off in the first half with 70% of the possession. And in the second half they've had 3 attempts. West Ham have had 1. Saliba. Zubimendi. Saliba once more. 18 minutes remaining. Arsenal 2, West Ham United 0. Arsenal will move top of the league with this victory. Liverpool travel down to Stamford Bridge at 5:30 p.m. tonight. Saliba. Zubimendi. He fires it forward. Gyökeres battling with Kilman. Cross comes in from Kilman. It's wayward. It's almost goal bound, but it's nowhere near a concern for the goalkeeper David Raya. It was a good break though by Kilman on the left hand side. He was going all the way down the touchline, put a cross in, and then it just flew over the bar. This West Ham side clearly need some sort of inspiration. It does feel like the departure of Kudus has really taken away an attacking option for them, and it feels like they're very reliant on Jarrod Bowen this season. Saliba. Calafiori. Saliba once more. Arsenal happy just to slow things down for a little bit. And it's patient play from the Gunners, and they play it back to their goalkeeper, but they're in total command of this football match. There's only been one team really in this game. I do feel there's a lot of work to be done for Nuno in the weeks ahead. Of course, after the international break they'll have a home game. It'll be another London derby, something they're not particularly good at, as they host West Ham, and then they're away to Leeds. But you've got to say, on paper, those are 2 games which they'll be hopeful of getting points from. In fact, their run is pretty good for the next 5 games. Home to Newcastle, which will be difficult, but they'd have a possibility of getting some points there. Home to Burnley, they'd feel very confident, and then away to Bournemouth, albeit Bournemouth are having another particularly good season. But right now they're facing an Arsenal side which are making 2 substitutions, and it's the 2 left-sided players, Leandro Trossard and Ricardo Calafiori, coming off, and it's 2 of Arsenal's homegrown talent in Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri, who come on. 2 players who certainly started to make a name for themselves last season for Mikel Arteta. Nwaneri and Lewis-Skelly. Lewis Skelly, of course, had that spat with Erling Haaland, and then went on to score against City in the return fixture. Quarter of an hour remaining at the Emirates. Arsenal 2, West Ham 0. A dominant display by Mikel Arteta's side. A lacklustre performance so far by Nuno Espirito Santo's team. Lucas Paquetá has the ball and he spreads it over to Wan-Bissaka. Slightly heavy touch, but he manages to keep the ball. Back in the side today for Kyle Walker-Peters, the former Manchester United fullback. Bowen on the near side. Tries to get a cross in. It's a decent delivery and it's cleared right by the penalty spot. That was better from West Ham, and it of course came from their main attacking threat, Jarrod Bowen. Paquetá on this near side. Into Bowen. It's a heavy ball back, but it'll come all the way to the goalkeeper Areola, who has to go forward. Now flicks it back over to this right hand side towards Bowen, but Lewis Skelly wins the header, and Declan Rice, who I did wonder whether he might come off soon, he continues. He plays the ball forward down the line, but it just curls out of play, and West Ham will have a throw on this near side. Wan-Bissaka plays the ball forward. It's a heavy touch by Marshall, and Saka's able to win the ball back, but Marshall's battling there with Gabriel. Tenacious there from the Northern Irish forward, and he's able to find Somerville. Gabriel's come over to make the challenge. Really good footwork by Somerville, and he gets caught trying to get through Saka and Gabriel, and he wins West Ham a free kick. Good play from the former Leeds winger, Freddie Potts. Paquetá tries to thread the ball forward, but that was well read by Zubamendi. The ball just trickles out of play to Nuno, who quickly picks it up and gives it to Paquetá. But the referee says that's a foul throw by the Brazilian, who now grabs the ball, shakes his head. And there continues to be concerns over Declan Rice. He's now gone to the ground, and I think it will finally be the end of the game for the former West Ham skipper. Clearly has an issue with his lower back, and Mikel Merino is preparing to come on. Of course, Merino had a bit of a run last season, playing as Arsenal's number 9, so to speak, or as a false 9, and actually did pretty well for the Gunners, as they had a bit of an injury crisis midway through last season. Looks like Gabriel Martinelli is also about to come on. Rice just explaining to the medical team that as he tried to turn, he slightly pulled his back. West Ham are about to bring on Kyle Walker-Peters, the former Southampton fullback, also former Spurs fullback, of course. He's unlikely to get a welcome reception at the Emirates. So Martinelli and Merino come off. Sorry, Martinelli and Merino come on, and it's Eze and Rice who come off. Be interesting to see who now plays where for the Gunners. Will Nwaneri move into a more central area, and Martinelli will go wide left? That's what one would assume here. Merino being almost the like for like with Declan Rice. Kyle Walker-Peters is also now on the field for West Ham, and he makes a like for like substitute with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Got to be honest, I thought it was a strange transfer for West Ham in the summer to sign Kyle Walker-Peters. I think he's an excellent fullback. I think he's a very good player. He's been a great servant for Southampton over the years, but I think he's a very similar type of player to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think they're both excellent fullbacks, and when you already have a player in Aaron Wan-Bissaka playing right back, why do you need a Kyle Walker-Peters? And now they've somehow got to rotate the two of them. You kind of feel that with everything that West Ham have with their squad, there were other areas in the field that they needed to strengthen more than spend money on a right back. Nonetheless, Kilman heads the ball clear. It drops to Zubamendi. Cross comes in, headed out by Mavropanos, and Arsenal will have another corner kick. And the Arsenal fans are on their feet. They are smelling a third goal. And it would be deserved, because Arsenal have been almost faultless in this game. In all honesty, I don't think it's been particularly too hard for them to be. This has been lacklustre from West Ham this afternoon. So Bukayo Saka is preparing to take this corner kick from the far side. Saka just delays taking this corner kick. The referee is wanting to have a word with some of the players in the penalty box. I think Saliba and Marshall in particular. Marshall's having an animated conversation with his teammate Walker Peters. Saka will go again. 8 minutes to go at the Emirates. Arsenal 2, West Ham United 0. Gunners have a corner on the far side. Bukayo Saka. Cross comes in from Saka. Comes through a whole host of bodies. Shot comes in from Merino. It's deflected off a West Ham player. And it goes out for another corner kick. It just drifted across the 6-yard box. No one could get there. Eventually, a shot came in from Merino. And it just hit the near Paquetá. So Martinelli will take the corner kick on this side. I think this is his first touch of the ball. Cross comes in. It's a decent delivery. It's headed out by West Ham. It comes back to the Brazilian. Cross comes in as a good one. Headed out though on the edge of the 6-yard box. Somerville tries to come away with it. Arsenal win the ball back. Saliba's pass is cut out. And the ball goes out of play on the halfway line. Nuno picks it up and he just hands it over to, or he's trying to hand it over to Lewis Skelly, who is in no rush to collect the ball from the Portuguese manager. Lewis Skelly hoists it towards Gyökeres, who is being held by Mavropanos, but play continues, and then Lewis Skelly just heads the ball out of play, and Arteta's furious with the referee John Brooks there for not giving a free kick to Arsenal, for Mavropanos just holding the side and the body and the shirt of Victor Gyökeres. And Arsenal now have another throw right in front of Nuno. Paquetá's not happy about it. I think it clearly came off the Brazil midfielder in the end, as Skelly just walks down the line, eventually throws the ball towards Gyökeres. It goes over the head of Mavropanos. The Swede is battling with Walker Peters, and in the end Gyökeres goes down. I think Arsenal won a free kick here. Indeed they have. It was just clumsy from Mavropanos in the end. Gyökeres did really well to get on the right side of Mavropanos. Walker Peters tried to make the challenge, and then when Mavropanos came in, he just got it all wrong. Greek defenders in a little bit of pain because of it. So Arsenal have a free kick. 6 minutes to go at the Emirates. Arsenal 2, West Ham United 0. Declan Rice scored in the first half. Saka scored a penalty in the second half. Martinelli, he's only been on the pitch barely a couple of minutes. Cross comes in, it's towards the near post. It's flicked on at the near post by Merino, but it doesn't challenge the goalkeeper, and he fails to get it on target. Just a little flick forward there by Martinelli, and Merino knew where the ball was coming. He just couldn't guide it goalwards. Arsenal have actually had now 20 attempts on goal, 5 on target. West Ham have had 3 attempts, none of them on target. David Raya hasn't had to make a save in this game, and I think that sums up a lot. Now, you can expect Arsenal to dominate teams at home, certainly lower in the table, but this is a London derby, and this has been pretty poor from West Ham United. It's been total domination by Arsenal, and Arsenal played well. I wouldn't say they've been incredible. They've looked really confident, they've passed, they've moved the ball really nicely, but West Ham just haven't really put up a big enough fight, in all honesty. Saliba. Back to David Raya in the 6-yard box. Knocks it forward towards Gyökeres. It bounces past him. Mavropanos wins the header, and Merino now has it for the Gunners. Threads it through to Nwaneri. Nwaneri running at the West Ham midfield, and Fernandes tries to win the ball back, but Nwaneri gets back to his feet. He finds Gyökeres. He's battling with Bowen, and in the end West Ham win a free kick on the edge of their penalty box, and as I expected, it is now Martinelli on the left hand side, and Nwaneri's playing alongside Merino and Zubimendi in the centre of midfield, or on the left side of the three. As Alphonse Areola prepares to take this goal kick, and in the end he decides to kick it high and long, and that's easy for Gabriel to head away. Drops to Kyle Walker-Peters. He flicks the ball over his head. Gabriel gets there. He's battling with Marshall. Ball is now bouncing around, and the header's won by Merino, and Gabriel makes sure Marshall can't come away with it, and Ranieri plays the ball down the line for Gyökeres, but Mavropanos got there first, and Areola clears. Header won by Gabriel. A real towering header. That's old school centre half play from Gabriel. In the end, I think it was might have been a handball or certainly a foul by Martinelli, but it's a free kick to West Ham nonetheless. Despite being 2-0 up, Mikel Arteta is still very animated on the touchline. Ball comes over to Bowen. Back to Walker-Peters, inside to Paquetá. He goes down very, very easily from the challenge by Merino. And it's one West Ham a free kick just inside their half. Definite foul by Merino. He went down very, very slowly there, Lucas Paquetá. As Fernandes is preparing to take this free kick, and I think he's going to launch this. As West Ham have sent their defenders forward. Comes right onto the edge of the box. It's headed forward, flicked on, and it's just out of the reach of the goalkeeper, David Raya, and West Ham will have a corner in the 89th minute. A, can they finally get a shot on target? B, can they actually get a goal and make the end of this game particularly interesting? Cross comes in, fisted out by Raya, cleared, comes out to Somerville. He'll play it back to the corner taker, Paquetá. Cross comes in into the box. Martinelli clears, and Walker-Peters just plays it back to his goalkeeper Areola. In the 90th minute at the Emirates, Arsenal 2, West Ham United 0. Goals from Rice and a penalty from Saka. Freddie Potts. Comes over to Walker-Peters. Potts. Loose pass though towards Bowen, and Lewis Skelly won it, and Arsenal now have it with Merino. And Nwaneri is now racing forward for the Gunners. Threads the ball through to Martinelli. Can he get a cross in towards Gyökeres at the far post? Is cut out by West Ham. Ball drops to Lewis Skelly. Heavy pass from Zubimendi, but Timber's able to keep the ball in play. Saliba now, and Arsenal will slow things down a little bit as West Ham have got their shape back, and there's a foul there on Mikel Merino. And there will be 7 minutes of additional time in this second half. I know there was the stoppage for Declan Rice, and of course there was the penalty in the goal, but 7 minutes feels a little bit excessive. As the ball is lobbed forward into the box towards Gyökeres, and West Ham managed to clear. And Marshall is battling to try and win the ball. Zubimendi does really well there. Now it's Saliba who brings it forward and spreads it wide to the goal scorer, Saka. He's got Diouf in front of him. Cuts inside with his left foot. Threads the ball forward, but that's well read by the West Ham defence. And Somerville tries to break. This is a really good run from the defender Kilman, who's racing at Arsenal's defence. Plays it out to Bowen. Cross comes in with his right foot. Headed clear, and then the effort comes in. In fact, it's just come off Zubimendi, and West Ham, I believe, have a corner. There's a really good break from Max Kilman, galloping from centre half. He finds Bowen, cross comes in, and in the end it's a diving header by Zubimendi, and West Ham have a corner. Pakatara's preparing to take it. Towards the back post. Header comes in, but it's over the bar. And that's a really good opportunity for Callum Marshall at the back stick to try and get a goal back for West Ham. Terrific delivery. He was battling with William Saliba at the far post, Marshall, but he couldn't keep his header down. He went over the bar, and that's arguably West Ham's best chance of the game. But again, it's not on target. Raya with the goal kick. Somerville now for West Ham. Merino makes the challenge, and the Hammers win a free kick in the middle of their half. They take it quickly, and Kilman now has it. Diouf wants it on the far side, but it's just dropped off to Paquetá. Freddie Potts. Somerville in the centre circle. Turns to face the goal. He's going to try and run with the ball. Plays it out to Walker-Peters. Somerville once more. Now on this right-hand side. He's got a bit of a licence to roam at the moment. Somerville. Clever pass back from Paquetá to Somerville, but he can't get around the Arsenal midfield. Gyökeres now has it. Trying to shield off Walker-Peters, trying to get away from Fernandes. This is a really good run from the Swede. He goes past Fernandes. He pulls the ball back. It's a little heavy. And it comes all the way to Somerville. And now Paquetá is going to try and get around Martinelli. Two Brazilians going head to head here. And ball comes into Potts. Over to Walker-Peters. Paquetá. And he now just plays it back to his defender, Mavropanos. Diouf at left back. Ball's played forward to Potts, but he just can't reach it, and Arsenal have it now with Mikel Merino. Declan Rice. Sorry, not Declan Rice. Declan Rice is off the field. That was Zubimendi. Declan Rice scored in the first half and had to be substituted late on in this second half due to a back pain issue. As Lewis Skelly now has the ball for Arsenal. He's closed down by Paquetá. He goes down. He wants a free kick. Play continues though. He gets back to his feet as Arsenal have it with Saliba, who's just slowly just trotting with the ball. We're in the 95th minute at the Emirates. Arsenal 2, West Ham 0. This has been a very professional performance by the Gunners. As they bring the ball forward. It's threaded And it's well read by Mavropanos to make sure that Gabriel Martinelli wouldn't get to the ball. But Arsenal have another corner kick. Well read by Mavropanos, but I think he's frustrated that he couldn't stop the ball from going out for a corner. Saka gets a round of applause as he prepares to take this corner kick. Gabriel, who scored late on with the winner against Newcastle from a corner, is up for this one. Again, he's being marked by two West Ham players, Fernandes and Potts. Cross comes in. Cleared at the near post. Ball hasn't left the box. Header from Somerville is straight into the sky. Diouf with the header. Shot comes in. It's blocked. Kouaskelly then has the ball taken off him and West Ham managed to clear. Zubimendi on the halfway line. Minute remaining of stoppage time. Ranieri plays the ball forward to Timber. Comes wide to Saka. Somerville wins the ball off him and he manages to clear. Goes straight to Zubimendi on the halfway line once more. Saliba. This will be Arsenal's fourth win in a row in all competition. In fact, it'll be their sixth win out of 7. It's a very deserved victory. Mavropanos just flicks the ball out of play and Arsenal have a throw. Less than 30 seconds remaining. This has been a confident, dominant performance by Mikel Arteta's side. Goalkeeper Raya hasn't had to make a save in this game. Most of the play has been in West Ham's half. They managed to win the ball on the far side and Marshall goes down and he wins West Ham a throw on the far side.